Hola estudiantes, hoy es el último día, la última clase de español. Increíble, ¿no? Vamos a comenzar con dos carteles, two posters right here. And what I want you to notice is the que. We've been talking a lot about subjunctive, right? And the one thing that's part of all subjunctive sentences is that little que in the middle. It hinges both sides. And sometimes you're going to find that there's no beginning side. There's just the que. It starts with the que. And it's usually in greeting cards or wishes for somebody to have a happy birthday, or to have a great day, or to have a happy anniversary, or to have a Merry Christmas and all that kind of thing. When you tell somebody to have a happy birthday, you have a great Christmas, have a Merry Christmas, it's not really a command, right? That's really bossy. You have a good Christmas or else, right? Like, that's a weird thing to command somebody. So I like to think of that word que as kind of like the word may. Que tengas un buen día, as you see in that first top left one. May you have a great day. May this happen. May this happen. Subjunctive is kind of like, yeah, I want this to happen, but I don't know if it actually will, right? So it's my hope that that's what happens to you. The one to the a la derecha here, que lo pases muy bien el día de tu cumpleaños. May you spend it really. May you enjoy it. May you have a good time. El día de tu cumpleaños. I just wanted to start with that a little bit because we'll be doing a little bit more with subjunctive today. There's not a lot to do today. I want to talk a little bit about the examen final and how I want you to proceed through that, and just some things leading up to that as well. But first, I would like you to actually not get these out. I'm going to ask you some questions myself that come from the Lección 11. Well, we're going to start with 12. And this is going to be an opportunity for you guys to practice that part of the examen where I'm going to ask you a question and you're going to answer it like you're sitting across from me and we're having a conversación, except you're going to write the answers instead of say them aloud. So listen really closely. Listen for clues in the question that you'll probably use in your answer too. I'm going to ask the question. Go ahead and hit the pause button. See how to form that question or that answer, and then answer that, and then start it up again. So the first question. ¿Vives en el centro o en las afueras de la ciudad? Voy a repetir la pregunta. ¿Vives en el centro o en las afueras de la ciudad? Pausa el video y contesta la pregunta. Personalmente yo vivo en el centro de la ciudad. Yo no vivo en las afueras. Pero Orange City es una ciudad muy pequeña. I don't know if that applies so much to our case. Otra pregunta. ¿Quién cocina bien en tu familia? ¿Quién cocina bien en tu familia? Pausa el video y contesta la pregunta, por favor. Ay, yo no sé. En mi familia nadie cocina muy bien. Yo no cocino muy bien. No me gusta cocinar. Your answer would have been perhaps mi madre cocina bien, o mi padre cocina bien, o yo cocino bien. Otra pregunta. ¿Cuáles muebles tienes en tu sala? Repito la pregunta. ¿Cuáles muebles tienes en tu sala? Pausa el video. Contesta la pregunta, por favor. Bueno, en mi sala yo tengo un sofá y 3 sillones más o menos grandes. Tengo unas mantas, tengo una alfombra, un estante y un televisor. Y una mesita y una lámpara. Hay muchos muebles en mi sala. Otra pregunta. ¿Prefieres barrer el suelo o hacer la cama? Repito la pregunta. ¿Prefieres barrer el suelo o hacer la cama? ¿Qué prefieres? Yo prefiero hacer la cama. Yo prefiero hacer la cama. Una pregunta más. ¿Arreglaste tu dormitorio anoche? Repito la pregunta. ¿Arreglaste tu dormitorio anoche? Espero que sí. I'm thinking a lot of people are going to probably say no. No arreglé mi dormitorio anoche. That idea of straightening up, picking up stuff in your dormitorio. So, little PSA here. This is a great thing to study because I am going to use the last 6 preguntas. I'm going to use 3 preguntas de lección 11 y 3 preguntas de lección 12. But that's only 6 preguntas, and there's going to be a total of 10. So I'm going to take one additional question from each of the chapters that we've learned this semester. So I will choose one question from lección 7, one from 8, uno de 9, uno de 10. So it'd be a great idea just to review all of those questions and just get a good idea of how you might answer some of those questions. That will be a part of the examen. I'll go over that in a second. And I've also sent you some information about that. So, but I will ask you the question. I've already submitted it to the test, my questions, the sound bites. So you will listen to it. I will repeat each question 3 times. What I would encourage you to do is listen to it the first 2 times, pause it, formulate your answer, type it out, and then listen to it a 3rd time and just check to make sure that you have that correct, okay? Saying what you're wanting to say in your answer. Because you have the 2 hours for the test, but you've got a lot of stuff to get through, I don't really want you to listen to it more than the 3 times that I say it. Now, if you have to go back, if we would have been in the classroom, you would have gone back. I would have offered you an opportunity to repeat some of those questions. So I can't police it, but I just want to encourage you to keep moving through the test. So listen really carefully. There's going to be clues in the question that'll help you determine what your answer has to be. One of the things you're listening for is just verb tense. If you hear the question in the present tense, the answer's in the present tense. If you hear same thing for preterite, same thing for imperfect. If you hear a question that has a reflexive verb in it, like te duchas, you're going to have the answer that has going to have a reflexive pronoun in it. Me ducho, me ducho. So listen for things like that and answer in a full statement. Okay, vamos a seguir. Una vez más vamos a practicar el subjuntivo. Tengo aquí una frase, la primera parte y la segunda parte aquí. Ustedes van a terminar la frase. Okay, notice what I have here. There's a lot of the K's, right? Quiero que, es importante que, mi papá manda que. We haven't used that one so much, but my dad, mandar is on there as commands, right? He orders me. Que yo, and then you're going to go straight across to finish these statements. All of these at the beginning are going to lead to a subjunctive in the second half of the sentence. So, like even right here, mi mamá insiste en que mi papá, what does my mom insist that he do? This thing right here. But all of these verbs there, invitar, hacer, ayudar, you're going to change those to the subjunctive form. So go over and hit the pause button and give yourself some practice with some of those. Try to do all of those. Those will be great practice for. There's going to be some parts on the exam where you're going to have to show me that you understand this idea of subjunctive. So give it a pause. I'll do a few of these when we come back. All right, let's start with the first one. Go straight across. So, quiero que mis amigos me inviten a salir con ellos. I want my friends to invite me to go out with them. Yo quiero que mis amigos, notice what happens to that me, go in front, me inviten, en, a salir con ellos. La segunda, es importante que los estudiantes hagan toda la tarea. The yo form that we base this on is hago. So there we go. Hagan toda la tarea. Mi papá manda que yo, en el subjuntivo, que yo ayude a mi mamá en la casa. Mi papá manda que yo ayude a mi mamá en la casa. La cuarta frase. Susana le sugiere, there's that suggest, we've been working with those just a little bit, those will be on the exam. Susana le sugiere que su hermano limpie el baño. Let's move to the second to the last one here. Mi profesor me aconseja que yo, aconsejar, counsels or advises. Mi profesor me aconseja que yo vaya a su oficina mañana. Vaya. It's one of the irregular ones. The yo form, voy, doesn't end in an O, so we can't take the O off like we do all the other forms. Mi profesor me aconseja que yo vaya a su oficina. Y la última. Los estudiantes le ruegan. It was in the Romans passage I gave you the last class. Beg, the professor. Los estudiantes le ruegan que el profesor no les dé una prueba de vocabulario. No les dé, not give them. No les dé una prueba de vocabulario. Which reminds me, you've got una prueba de vocabulario más. The students can beg, you can beg me all you want, but we're still going to have one. So it is due by midnight tonight. And it will have the quehaceres, it will have the electrodomésticos, y la mesa también. So things like cuchara, cuchillo, la copa, la taza, refrigerador, all those good things. All right, so last little push there with the subjunctive by somebody wanting another person to do those things. Okay, remember when we learned that irregular sepas that came from the verb saber, means to know, right? and that was the negative tu command form, right? No sepas. If we base it on the yo form of saber is yo sé. So again, no O to take off. But I said, remember this command because even though it's nothing you'll use in command form, we'll use it a little bit later. And this is the example that I was wanting to show you. So, quiero que, there it is, sepas que este día estoy pensando en ti. I want you to know, okay? I want that you know that on this day, I am thinking about you. So, quiero que sepas. That's probably the biggest way that is used because, yeah, I want you to know. She wants me to know. Ella quiere que yo sepa. We want all of you to know. Queremos que ustedes sepan. So, anything where you want somebody to know stuff, that's that verb saber. But this is the subjunctive of that. Sepa, sepas, sepa, sepamos, sepan. Okay. Yeah, this I would have put up, I enjoy this. I would have put it up in class largely because this was my announcement on the fact that tutors are finished as of today. There's no more tutoring services are offered because tutors are students also, and there's no more extra credit that's available at this point. It was available to you all semester long. And some of you took advantage of it, so I appreciate those of you who did that very frequently. So good job, good job. You got points in your grade, in your quiz column. But yeah, now not so much. Now not so much. So I like that slide. It makes more sense when we're doing it together in class. All right. Then, yeah, just as a reminder, the prueba final would have been done in class right about now, but take that now before the end of the day today. We were going to play also I think it's a fun vocab review game. Can't play it. Don't have anybody there. We don't have any people in competition with one another. So on another semester, we will do that. Again, I apologize for the way it's gone. I had some fun things that we would have done in class, but we can't do because of the situation. One thing that I would really like you to do before you finish the course is to take a few minutes, maybe less than 10, to complete the course evaluation. I do appreciate your thoughtful responses. I try to implement those things as I move forward and try to make some changes. So yeah, I would appreciate you guys taking time to fill those out. And then just the last thing here, short class today. El examen final. And as you know, every class period has a different time for the examen final. Any 8:55 Monday, Wednesday, Friday class, your exam on that day is going to be miércoles el 6 de mayo a las 9 de la mañana. My 210 class, if there's anybody, even if it's your compañero de cuarto, if they have a class at the same time, that's the exam time. So just be sure that you're there. Believe it or not, I've had people that don't come to final exams. I've had that, and I've had to have so we're in the room and so-and-so's not there, and I'm like, hey, does anybody know their number? Call them, text them, whatever. We don't have a room to be in, so I won't know if you're not in the exam. So it's on you. You guys have to be there. You have to be prepared. I have tried to set the technology. I'm so hoping that nothing just crashes on me, but I've tried to set it up so that you guys, it's open at that time and it will go for 2 hours and then it will shut off. There are a few people that have outside circumstances that need a little extra time, and I have given you guys that time. If you're concerned about this, please let me know. But yeah, some people have already indicated, and in previous tests have asked for additional time. So if you're wondering if that's you, please contact me. It is what would have been my paper and pencil test. So I have just converted it to Blackboard, and it won't be given to you all at once. You're going to be it'll be presented to you in short segments. So like 5 to 8 to maybe at the most 10 questions at a time. And then you can go to the next button and it will take you to the next page basically of the test. Some are multiple choice, so you're just putting the letter in. Some of them are cierto, falso. If it's cierto or falso, be sure you put the C for cierto, the F for falso. Don't put a T because it's a computer and it will count you wrong. So the word for true in Spanish is cierto. It's got a C in it, so be sure that you do that. The next thing says that you can navigate back and forth between sections. So if you finish a section and then you're like, oh, yeah, I should have done that differently, you can go back, all right? But keep in mind the clock is going and you're going to need to complete it in a timely manner. If there's a section where you need to write, and there'll be a few sections, and I'm going to talk about these in a second, I have copied the special characters, the accented A, E, I, O, U, the N with the tilde over top, upside down exclamation point if you need that, upside down question mark if you need that. Every one of those writing sections I have put at the top in the directions, right below the directions, I have those characters there. So you can copy paste those in what you're using, what you're writing. You can do that. Please do that, especially if you know that there's an accented word, especially like if it's in the preterite, you know that you have to use the accented yo me duché, or ella se durmió. You know that has an accented letter. Please make sure that you indicate that. I won't count off for that kind of thing, but I want to see that you have learned, especially in the preterite, they're really important. The other thing about that was, the main writing part, besides the oral questions that I will ask you, and you'll need to respond full sentence, kind of like the ones that we started off with class today. Not kind of like, exactly like. I'm going to use these exact questions. In addition to that, there's two parts that deal a lot with the last two chapters where we've spent a lot of time on commands. So you're going to have to write in one section two commands. One affirmative. What I mean by that is telling somebody to do something, and then one negative. So telling somebody, don't do this. Do this, don't do this. Okay? It will have a specific situation for you. All right? So, for example, it'll say, ¿Qué le dices a tu novio cuando él no quiere salir contigo? What do you say to your boyfriend when he doesn't want to go out with you? So what would be a command that you would say in that specific scenario? So maybe you would say, an affirmative command might be, go to the movie theater with me. All right. So that command could, in Spanish, of course, you're doing this. So, ve al cine conmigo. That would be a great command that you would make as an affirmative command. What would be, for the same situation, what would be a don't do this negative command? Something like, no salgas con tus amigos. No salgas con tus amigos. Don't go out with your friends. Ve al cine conmigo. No salgas con tus amigos. So you will use an affirmative command and a negative command for each one of those. So make sure that your commands both fit the situation, and that the one is affirmative, make it in the affirmative form, and one's in the negative form. Those are formed differently. So that's one part of it. There's another part that is going to ask you to, there's pictures about health things, okay? Something's going to be wrong with a variety of people. So maybe there's a picture of one person that's doing this, like, oh. So you're going to tell me that Sofía, a Sofía le duele la cabeza, or tiene un dolor de cabeza. In the middle of that sentence, then I'm going to have something like, y le recomiendo que, and then I'm going to let you finish it. I recommend to her that, what should she do? All right. So notice that the second half, you're going to have to put some sort of subjunctive thing in, like we just practiced a few pages ago. So, le sugiero que Sofía tome aspirinas, or something like that, right? So tome, right? It's a subjunctive form from tomar. So be sure that you are following the directions. I've given you examples. So read the directions before you, so that you know what you have to do for each section. That's a big writing section right there that I just described. The two commands, and then this describing what's wrong with the person, telling them what they should do. It's a beautifully designed, those are both beautifully designed sections, I think, because they allow you to tell me what you know, not what you don't know. So if you don't know how to say a certain thing, don't say it. Say something else that fits the situation. So I'm giving you a lot of liberty and leeway to use what you know how to articulate. Yeah, everything else, the directions are all right there. So please, please, please read those. Don't just assume that you know what you're doing. And the word bank part, if there's a verb in it, there are several verbs. I think there's the verb barrer, recomendar. I don't know. There's other verbs in there. Planchar, maybe. All of those verbs I'm going to tell you right now, and I tell you in the directions as well. Every time you use one of those verbs, it will be in the past tense, in the preterite past tense. Okay? Speaking of preterite and imperfect, there's two sections that deal with that. One does not have an English translation. The other one does. Okay? So the English translation of that short little story, I think there's only 15 verbs, will be at the top, and then below you'll have the Spanish. And instead of having you compose the verb, I will ask you to, I have both of the verbs there. Okay? So I will have like fui and iba, right? Or let's say durmió or dormía. So you have to choose because of the context of the story. It's always about context, so be sure you read it, the surrounding information. Be aware of what the context would indicate for whether that verb should be preterite or imperfect. If you need to spend some time going back over preterite and imperfect, it was from Lección 10. Profe Gomez gives lots of good examples in the Panorama tutorials. So go back and watch that, listen to that, go back and redo a few stories that we did, something like that. You can, by the way, cut and paste the, or not cut, copy and paste the verb because I'm giving you them. You can copy and paste that if you want into the field, into that answer. Yeah, so there's I think that I have given you a very, very thorough instructions on each one. I went back over it again today for another time. I'm really making sure that it's very clear to you, so be sure that you're reading all of the directions. The listening sections, okay, so right here, in addition to my questions, like I had talked about here, there are 2 sections from Panorama. One has 5 cierto falso questions. I would like you to listen to that one twice. Okay, that comes from Lección 11, has to do with some sort of tecnología kinds of things. So, be prepared for that one. It's multiple choice. No, not multiple choice. It's cierto falso. Then the last one comes from Lección 12 about the quehaceres domésticos, what we've been working on most recently. All of the chores, all the houseworks, things like that. So it's a little bit longer, and I have 10 questions instead of 5. So that's why I say listen to it either 2 or, in this case, I recomiendo que ustedes escuchen 3 veces. All right, it'll be hard to get all of those within the 2 times. So if we would have been in class together, I would have played it a 3rd time for you. Okay, but the other one. Just 2 times. When I say here 3 times each, when I say the questions to you that I have chosen from our 3-column question sheet, I will ask them 3 times. I will repeat it. I will say it once, I will say it again, I will say it one more time. Okay? I guess there's nothing stopping you from going back and listening to it again, but I would encourage you just to really listen twice, compose your answer, listen to it after you've paused, compose your answer, listen to it a 3rd time, and then keep going. All right? What else? I will be available for you guys to ask questions during the examen. So if you have my Zoom room open, there it is, right here. That's the only other tab that I want you to have open. I don't want you to have anything else. No Google Translate, obvious reasons. No Panorama stuff open. I want you to only have your brain taking this test. I want to know what you know. I don't care to know what a computer knows. And I can figure that stuff out pretty easily, and if I have any suspicion, I will confront you on that. Please don't give me any reason to doubt that. Please, please, please don't. I've had to give people 0s on exams before. It's not a fun thing. But I had to do it, and it was the worst thing ever. So don't make me even suspect that might be your situation. But all that to say, I will be available during those 2 hours. I will be in my Zoom room, and I'll just be, I don't know, doing what? Maybe I'll be barrer el suelo, something like that. But I will be available. Shout out at me if you don't see me, if I'm doing something else. I'll be available to answer a question because inevitably there's questions and then you're like, I don't know. So I will be there during those times. And if you have any preguntas beforehand, this is making you be a little bit proactive and ahead of time, but lunes el 4 de mayo a las 8, desde las 8 hasta las 9, I will be in the same Zoom room. It's kind of like my office, I guess. I will be there to answer any questions, to give you guys some practice with whatever. If you're not understanding something, I'm happy to answer those questions. Yeah. So if it's like a las 8:45, nobody's there, I may shut it down. So if you're going to come early on so that or if for some reason you can't make that time, please let me know. And if you have questions, we can arrange it outside of that time. But your examen isn't until miércoles and jueves, so it's a few days before that. So you have to be a little bit on the ball to be thinking about these before lunes, because you need to come to that on that day. I won't have anything on martes. I've got stuff going on. Again, to complete the course evaluation, I'd really appreciate that. And there's one other thing I was going to say. I can't remember what it was. I will probably post one more little announcement video, just as a wrap up, close it up kind of deal. It's been a strange semester, as we all know, and I hope that you were able to engage and invest and learn as much as you could under the circumstances. I've learned a lot about what to do, what not to do, how I would do it differently the next time. I hope there's no next time. I hope that we can be in person in the future. So if there's things that I'm thinking of, and I probably will, I will post an announcement. But you have a way to contact me as well, so reach out to me if there's things that you are questioning and you want some clarification for. Okay. Hasta luego. Buena suerte en el examen final. Chao.